Hey everyone, it's Mike Valtosa and welcome to the Orderflows market analysis for Wednesday, August 30th, 2017. And stocks firmed today. NASDAQ was up over 1%. Dow had a marginal gain, it was like 0.1%. And crude oil, another large draw in the weekly inventories, but it didn't really give crude much of a lift, and crude ended up falling about 50 cents to just under $46. We had a very strong GDP number, which was good. Came in at 3.3% for consumer spending. So, there was some very nice trading opportunities in the S&Ps. It started out kind of a slow morning as we were hovering right around yesterday's value area high. We sold off. We were higher than yesterday's value area high, but then we sold off into it just before the cash open, and we just sort of stayed in there. And again, I was feeling if we could get above it, then we could get a nice rally, and we did get a nice rally. But anyway, before we jump into everything, let's go over a brief disclaimer. This presentation is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered a solicitation to buy or sell a futures contract or make any other type of investment decision. Futures trading contains substantial risk and is not for every investor. An investor could potentially lose all or more than the initial investment. Risk capital is money that could be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle. Only risk capital should be used for trading, and only those with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. And again, every day the market presents different trading opportunities, and no two opportunities in order flow is going to be exactly alike. They'll be similar, but you know what? Volume changes, who's participating changes all the time. So it's, while things are similar, they're not fully exact. Now, the tools used in this presentation are the Orderflows Trader and the Delta Scalper. The Orderflows Trader is the volume footprint chart. The Delta Scalper is an additional indicator that will run on the Orderflows Trader as well as a normal bar chart. So don't get the Delta Scalper thinking you're going to get the volume footprint chart. It doesn't work that way, right? It's an additional indicator. It's completely separate. So that said, let's jump into the charts. The first market, I'm going to keep this short today. The first market talk about is the E-minis. I said, we got that nice rally, and I'll take a look at the 10 range chart here. Just let me grab it real quick. Okay, here it is. And there's a couple of really standout opportunities. Just disappeared on me. Really, with the order flow. At the high, and as you're going up to the high, coming off the low and straight up to the high. If I could find this damn chart, what the fish is going on here? Okay, here it is. So, okay, going back to the middle of the night, 2 in the morning, we made our high here. Okay, rallied up. 2 in the morning, you hit your high. You got a ratio, no divergence. You do have the price rejector, that's this red line. You do have next bar, the Delta Scalper giving a signal. You've got side-by-side point of controls, obviously 2 down bars. The bar off your high, strong negative delta. The bar on your high, kind of a neutral delta in terms of, being a 10 range chart. 389 is considered small. So you got some signs up here that this market is going to start selling off. Okay, say you're not convinced yet. Say you're not convinced. You know what? Order flow is for the birds. I'm not convinced that this is a high. I'm going to buy and get long. Why? What sign is there for you to be buying, thinking we're going to come back up and take out this high? There is none. Instead, right here, you got this strong negative delta. Say you're not convinced here. You wait for this bar. Down again. Nice strong negative delta, 1563. And you're starting to see multiple imbalances. You had a couple here, which is nice, but then you get another 1, 2, 3 in this bar. So by now you should be convinced. You've got lower point of control. The market's heading down, whether you want to admit it or not. You could fight it all you want, but it's heading lower. I mean, there's no point trying to be a hero saying, I think this market's going to rally, I should buy. There's absolutely no reason to think after this bar that this market's going to come up here and take out this high right now or anytime soon. There's nothing in the order flow indicating that. Instead, everything is indicating this market's going lower. And what happens is you sell off down, down, down into the lows. Now this blue line here is yesterday's value area high. Okay. Now when we reopened, we poked down in and then we shot straight up for the entire Asian session. So what I'm watching is when we come back down into it. What's the market going to do? And it did it right, right ahead of the cash open. This is 7:40 this morning. This bar closed, and then 8 o'clock, 8:17, 8:36, 8:37. We're just hanging around inside, inside the upper end of yesterday's value area. So, the point of control actually for yesterday, I think, was somewhere in here around 45, if I remember correctly off the top of my head. I mean, I could take a look, but I don't think that's important. Yeah, here, 46 was yesterday's point of control. But anyway, I don't think that's as important as the value area high, since it's so close. So we're just hanging around there, right? So, when you come in back into yesterday's value area, what's going to happen? Are we just going to hang around in there? Or are we going to go sell off all the way down to the lower value area? Probably not in this case. Or we're going to rally back out of the value area like we did earlier today, or last night. And we started coming up around 9 o'clock. What do you got down here? You got divergence, you've got a ratio in the next bar. You don't have a ratio in this bar, but divergence and ratio. Again, me saying this every day. People, I think they're sick of me saying it. But again, watch when you get ratios and divergence. If you don't get the ratio in the bar with the divergence, look to the next bar for the ratio. And you're getting it. And then you start rallying up. Start rallying up. You're above the value area high from yesterday, which is a good sign that we can be going higher. You're getting higher point of controls. 1, 2, 3. You got green bars, everything, positive deltas, 1500, 2000, 2000. You got one bar here with negative delta. Okay, that's one bar. It doesn't necessarily mean the entire move is over. Watch what happens to the next bar. This next bar comes back really quick. It takes 6 minutes to finish this bar. Come into the next bar, nice stacked buying imbalance. Okay, so now, like earlier, I was telling you didn't have any reason to be getting long up near the high. Now you're at the short, and you got every reason to believe that we're going to start rallying. You got your divergence, you've got your ratio afterwards, another ratio here, you got a string of positive deltas coming in. You're above yesterday's value area high. There's absolutely no reason to think that this market's going to sell off and start making new lows anytime soon. It's just not. The signs are just not there. And what happens is we start rallying, boom, you get the stack buying imbalance, and it holds. I'd love to see a nice bullish ratio here just to confirm it that we're not, market's not going to sell off. And then look at these deltas, all positive delta, 4,900, 8,000, 8,000. Do you see any min deltas in here? No, you don't. You just see 0, 0, 0. So at no point in these bars were there any net aggressive selling. There's obviously aggressive selling into the bids, but it's not enough to turn the delta negative at any point, and that's also important. Then you rally up here. You got a bunch of imbalances, 1, 2, 3, 4. This next bar, 1, 2, 3. So you got, you're staring at 7 imbalances. Now you get up here to these highs, and what do you get? Now you've got a stacked selling imbalance here at the high. You've got a divergence. You've got point of control up near the high. So you're starting to see a bunch of bearish signs up here. You don't have the ratio. Next bar, you do have the ratio. And then again, you got a nice negative delta. So looking at the market at this point, what do you think this market's going to do? Do you think this market's going to rally still? Do you think we just hit this high coming off and then poke back up? No, you shouldn't think that. You got all negative signs up here. Divergence, point of control near the high, stacked imbalance, a big selling imbalance right off the high. Ratio in the next bar, stronger negative delta in the second bar. 4,000 is strong by itself. 5,000 is even stronger. So you got all the signs in there that this market's going to be selling off. So what happens? It starts trading lower. You do rally back up towards this point of control. The one thing about this bar is it would look a hell of a lot nicer if this point of control was a little bit lower. But what you can see in here is quite a bit of volume, 5,000 up here at 8 1/4, which tells you that there is supply. So the market started rallying back up, but there's somebody in there selling the shit out of it. 5,000. That's a decent chunk, at this area. Normally, before you got up there, you only had, 1,900, 3,000, 4,000. Now you got 5,000, so it's a bit strong. And then boom, you sell off, boom, 4 selling imbalances in that bar. Very strong negative delta. But really the signs were here earlier, so you'd be getting short somewhere in this bar. And this bar is a nice down bar. Then you run in here right before the cash close. You sort of poke back up. And then you go into the evening session where we are right now. But again, You should have been looking to get short in this bar. I don't know how she could have gotten out of this, but really, the best trade, there's nice. This was the best one here this morning. You had a lot more going for it in terms with taking in yesterday's value area high as well. So if you're getting long in here, you got a beautiful move up to the new highs. This one here, yeah, it's a small move. Just as earlier in the overnight session, you had a nice little move here as well. So everything today worked out nicely in the S&Ps. Okay, we'll take a look at crude really quick. Again, 9:30, you had the inventory numbers came out. You had another large draw, and you did actually get you got a little sell off, and then you shot up to new highs, and then you sold off. But at this low here at 9:43, again, what do you got here? You got small delta. You got positive delta though, so you got the divergence. Next bar, you got the ratio that you're looking for. Again, I just showed you in the S&Ps. Now I'm showing it to you again in the crude oil. And what do you get? Delta scalper as well, off the low, which is a nice sign. Next bar, all, I'll say all buying imbalances, but, over half the bar is buying imbalances. And you shoot up to, I'll say you shoot up at this point. You get up to the swing high, you come back in, kind of go sideways. Again, no reason to be, getting short in here. Other than this delta scalper. But you come down in here, you've got, a zero print, which is bullish. Then you start going back up. Okay. Honestly, if you're long off this delta scalper off the low, you run into here, you'd be getting short, and it just goes sideways on you. I don't think you would have caught the move up, but then you're starting coming in here, and what do you get? You got a stack buying imbalance followed by another stack buying imbalance, which again, you got one right after the other. That you should be thinking there's a lot of aggressive buying in here. You should be able to recognize that, and it's worth a shot. It's worth a shot getting long. If it was just one buying imbalance, stack buying imbalance like this one by itself, I wouldn't be too interested. But now you've got two in a row. I'm a little bit more interested. And we do have some room coming into the high, so it's look at all this, and these are nice aggressive bars in terms of buying, 800, 900, 1,000, 600. Here it starts waning, but it picks up again, 650, 400, 800. As you're making these new highs, you get up here to this high, strong negative delta. The bar right before it, you've got a small delta, 63, but then you get this high. You've got the divergence, you got the delta scalper, you've got multiple, two imbalances, 179, 354 ratio in the next bar. So you're getting the signs in here to be getting short. Okay, and you're at your high. So if you're getting short off your high, yeah, where's your stop? It's just behind the high. So you're not risking too much, maybe 10 ticks on this trade to be getting short. Okay, what happens is the market just sort of meanders, goes sideways, starts heading down again. If you're getting short somewhere, in here around the 60 area, I said, your stop's up here at 70. Do you see any signs in here that, there's aggressive buying, that this market could start going up? No, there's nothing. Instead, you see in bearish ratio here, it starts coming off finally. Nice strong deltas, 700, 800. Just really quick, here you had some nice positive deltas, 1500, 1100, but the market can't go any higher. It's people are buying the shit out of it, but there's sellers up there. Okay, that should be telling you something. When you got these very strong deltas and the market's not going up, that's a negative sign. It's just telling you that there's people that have offers up there, people that have supply, they're offering it out, people are buying it, but they can't get past that supply. Now, if the market started going higher, that'd be another story. But the fact is, it's holding down the market. And then the market sells off, boom, 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 keeps selling off, keeps selling off. Even here you got the delta. Again, no reason to be buying in here. You have, here you got a bullish ratio, but so what? That's just one out of all these bars. That's nothing. And anything you have this little, you got this, trap traders down here. You do get a little pop up. Trap traders for me is sort of a short-term trade. Then, delta scalper again, telling you to stay short, and you go into the close, you end up closing around $46. So, slightly under $46. But, again, the signs were there of selling that high. I would love to say there was a lot of clear signs that you could have caught the entire move up, but you sort of ran into, some bearish signs on the way up. But then once you continue to move up, you got a nice bullish sign here, with these buying imbalances, so you can at least catch the other half of the move. But definitely up here at this high, you should have been able to recognize the structure up here with all the bearish signs right before the market sold off. Okay, so the day wouldn't be complete without an obligatory nice Delta Scalper chart. So I'll show you this. This is the Emini 987 tick chart. The sell doesn't work out, but I don't think it would have, because you didn't get the follow through in the next bar. Right, next bar opened up and traded higher. I like to let the market lead me in. Like here, this one, it was a nice sell, but then it came right back with a nice buy, and boom, 49 all the way up to the 58 area where you got the sell. These sells didn't work out, just sort of went sideways and stopped you out. Here's a nice little buy. It starts coming down. If you're trailing your stop, maybe you would have caught something there. Same thing here. Probably break even with your stop. But again, even if you're losing, one tick on this, 1 point here on this trade, 1 point on this trade, 1 point on this trade, you just got, 9 points. So are you willing to risk? This one's on the cash close. On the cash close, you really get a big wave of buying or selling. So you do get sometimes very big delta numbers, which is, I think it'll skew it a little bit. That's why I'm a little bit hesitant to take trades right on the cash close, because I know that's when everyone is fucking coming in, buying and selling, right on the cash close. But again, are you willing to risk, 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, 3 losing trades for a trade that you potentially get, 9, 10 points on? Everyone says, oh, you got to have 2 to 1, 3 to 1 risk reward ratio. Well, here's a 9 to 1 risk reward. Sure, when you have a 9 to 1 risk reward, not every trade is going to be a winner, right? Don't expect, if you're trading with such a high risk to reward ratio, that you're going to get a high winning percentage. You're not. You're going to get a smaller winning percentage because you're trying to catch bigger moves, right? Sometimes people don't really grasp that. They think I'm going to have a 9 to 1, 10 to 1 risk reward ratio and get 60% winners. You're not. You're just not. It boggles my mind that some people think that way, but people think that way. What can you do? Just really quick. Let's see if I could just show you another chart. Again, 233 tick chart in the crude. I don't advocate trading this for a lot of people because you're gonna be taking a shitload of trades. They said the only reason I put this here is because some guy was being a jerk to me, and he's saying the Delta Scalper doesn't really work. So even if you're trading in the evening session, look at this. This is 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning. Yeah, you got to sell here. It doesn't really trigger you to get in. And then here you get a nice sell, from the 34 area down into the 14 areas. 20 points at 2 in the morning. Then here you're getting a lot of back and forth, back and forth. Let's see what it looks like after the inventory number. Again, it's just sort of going back and forth. Then here, okay, see, nothing here. Back and forth, break evens. Yeah. This one, you're talking, what's your risk? Say you're getting short in here at 08. If you're using 5 or 6 ticks, you're probably okay. It's hard to say. This one comes in here, then you get the buy here, then you get the nice buy from, the 14, the 15 level. And what happens is it trades all the way up into the 45 area where you get a sell. So, that's 30 ticks right there. Get the sell, doesn't work out, it sort of scratches. Then you get your another entry at 45 up to 65. That's another 20 ticks. So it's 50 cents right there you just got. So if you're risking 5, 6 ticks, some of these you'd be breaking even, maybe losing 1 or 2 ticks or 3 ticks, trailing your stops. Again, you got to understand your risk to reward ratio, But again, a 233 tick chart is going to be very, very fast. You're going to get a shitload of trades. Later in the day, had a nice sell-off. I don't think that's a beautiful chart, but again, I don't think people. I don't know why people would want to trade a 233 tick chart. It's going to be moving extremely, extremely fast. I prefer, something that's not going to give me a heart attack in the markets. Now, I'll show you a better chart. It's an 8 range British pound chart. I mean, look at this. Get a nice buy here, sells up. You get a nice sell down here. Nice another buy, comes back up. You know, so these, you know, this one is probably break even. This one, you know, maybe you got, you know, something, a few ticks out of, not a whole lot. You know, let's see here. Let's go through it. You know, say you're buying it here at 21, you get your sell here. You know, so yeah, that's 10 ticks. This one, you know, where you're getting short at somewhere in here at 31, 32. You know, then it comes back up, so you know that one's probably about break even. Then you get a nice sell here. You know, you're getting short here, say 31, 32. It sells all the way. You know, it sells off quite nicely. You get this nice move down. If you're trailing your stop, it starts coming back up. So you know you're short at 30. You know, maybe you're coming in around 7, 8, 9, 10. You know, so there was some nice points to be had there in the British pound. But anyway, I don't want to keep this too long. Try not to keep these videos too long because I don't want to lose people's attentions. So to learn more about trading software, order flows, go to www.orderflows. To learn more about the Delta Scalper, visit deltascalper.com. So thanks everyone, and have a great day. Bye-bye.